What's up, everybody? Tyler McLaren here from the HESN Football Podcast. Glad you guys could join us for episode 10 of the podcast for this year. It has been a while since we've been on the podcast here with you guys, but we have been getting things ready for the off season, working really hard on the highlight tapes and organizing all the great stuff that we've been up to this season. So we'd like to thank you guys for your patience. Lots has happened in the meantime since our last podcast. We've had the All-Star game. We've had an amazing run by the Redblacks, and the CFL season's been wrapped up. The CIS season has wrapped up, and obviously the NFL season and everybody's fantasy football years are coming down to the last weeks, if not the playoffs already. December in Canada for football fans is always like that sort of bittersweet type of time, because yes, we all love hockey, or most of us do love hockey, and the winter in Canada, you can't really be playing outside playing football. We got NFL playoffs, but the CFL season's over, the CIS is over, NCAF is over, high school's over, yada, yada, yada. But it also is the start of, a lot of the training, the off-season training, and just sort of the getting excited. You start to... I know I used to get the itch already in December to get going back again in football. But, what we're going to do today on this podcast is we're going to go over the Vanier Cup. We're going to go over the Redblacks run to the Grey Cup. And we're going to break down for you guys what HESN is going to be up to this offseason to keep you guys informed and involved with the football community in the city of Ottawa. Like we said, HESN is really all about just making football better. And we think that what we're going to give to you guys this offseason is going to be really great for the kids and players. We've got tons of great guests lined up for the next couple months on the podcast to really talk to and inform people about lots of great things happening in the football community in this great city of Ottawa and in Canada, really, I guess, too. So like we always do, we're going to start with sort of some of the roundup of the games outside of NCAF. Well, we don't have any NCAF games, so just going to be going over some of the football stuff. And we're going to start with the Vanier Cup, which was another spectacular football game. And I know that overall, the amount of support that the CIS football gets definitely is not as good as it should be, or is not as good as I hope it would be, or it is. But it's always, the Vanier Cup is one of those things in Canadian sports that we all should embrace and love more than we all do. Now, that's not coming from the people in the football community. The people in the football community, they really probably do like the Vanier Cup, so we're really not worried about that. But the Vanier Cup really should be something that even sort of a middle-of-the-road football fan, or maybe not even a football fan, should be embracing, because it's usually an amazing game. And the story of the kids or the teams that are in there is usually a good one. And this year was no exception. It was an unbelievable Vanier Cup. It was a 23-20 victory, I believe, or 26-23 victory for the UBC Thunderbirds over the Montreal Carabins. I don't even know what a Carabin is. But it was a huge win for Coach Nil and that UBC program, beating Montreal Carabin, the defending Vanier Cup champions. I watched the whole game. It was actually my dad's birthday that day, November 28th, and we had a whole bunch of people over, and we ended up sort of just watching that game. It was a great football game, and the first thing I want to talk about that game is just the two big stories of the game is Coach Nil's first year at UBC, transforming that program into a national champion in its first year. And also the quarterback, Michael O'Connor, who's a local product, obviously, as everyone knows, part of Gridiron Academy, went down to EMG, and in Florida, got a scholarship to Penn State. Wasn't going to get an opportunity there with Christian Hackenberger, or whatever his name is, at Penn State doing his thing there. Not really that great, but nonetheless, he's still there. Obviously, coaching change. Bill O'Brien was the coach who recruited Michael O'Connor, who's now the head coach of the Houston Texans. And Michael O'Connor came back to his home country and went to UBC. Obviously, Coach Nil found a way to connect with him and bring him in. and he led the team to, in his first year as a freshman, to a national champion, Vanier Cup champion. And that's an amazing achievement for any quarterback to win the Vanier Cup, let alone as a freshman, let alone really not playing football for sort of the last year and a half, 2 years, is nothing short of remarkable. And coming from a person myself who, I don't want to say I was a hater on Michael O'Connor, I felt I was a realist. I felt that I know he played football at Ashbury. I know that he went down to the IMG Academy. I said EMG earlier. I think IMG Academy. And, I just didn't know how much football he played. I definitely thought that if he came back to Canada, it would have taken longer for him to adapt to the Canadian game and sort of get his feet under him and get comfortable. But, obviously this kid is special. And obviously he has an opportunity to do some big things in the CFL and maybe even get a chance and a look in the NFL because he has some of the physical characteristics that the NFL looks for in a quarterback. Talking to a few of my I guess you could say connections, some of my old coaches who are pretty connected in the CIS world and in the professional football as well, they were telling me that there is some hype about this kid getting a shot in the NFL maybe down the line should he continue with his progress. The other thing I wanted to talk about is just Coach Nill. For those that don't know, Blake Nill, he was head coach of the St. Mary's Huskies during their glory days with Coach Samara. That was, I don't even know what years, but I know definitely when I was at McMaster, which is 2002, 2003, he was the head coach there. They won multiple national championships there. I believe they won 2, and they went to 4 national championships. He then left St. Mary's, and he went to Calgary, where they went to 2 consecutive Vanier Cup games, losing both of them, but nonetheless, back-to-back games is still a very, very impressive achievement. And then this year's first year at UBC, led the team to a Vanier Cup championship, national championship. So I don't know what it is about Coach Nill. Like, obviously, he's a spectacular coach. We all know that. Obviously, he's a fantastic recruiter. Obviously, he picks his job smart by going to places that are going to be able to give him what he needs to do his job properly. And, it's just amazing. And I guess I just wanted to sort of let people know that didn't already know how great a coach this guy really is. The proof's in the pudding. You see a guy go to 3 different schools, be in the Vanier Cup each time at every school he's been to, not winning one in Calgary, but coming darn close, and winning one at UBC, winning a couple at St. Mary's. So this guy is one of the greatest coaches in the history of CIS football. I don't think he's going to be going anywhere anytime soon with Michael O'Connor at quarterback. And I think they're setting themselves up to have a dynasty in UBC. Just a few of the guys that I know at UBC. I've watched Pinto play for the last couple of years at Metro Toronto, doing broadcasts and filming games for the OVFL. Huge athlete, great football player, and he contributed all year for them. And that just shows that Coach Nill doesn't just pick guys from out west or out east or whatever. He's taken kids from everywhere and bringing them into a program and making them work for the greater good for that football team. So again, congratulations to Coach Nill. Congratulations to Michael O'Connor for their thrilling victory against the Montreal Canadiens. Just to talk about that game, inside the game, obviously, for all those that watch the game or not, it was a great football game. There was lots of great plays. I thought Montreal got a little bit lucky. If you watched one of their touchdowns, the defensive back for UBC had an opportunity to intercept the ball, misplayed it. It was caught. There's a couple other plays in the second half where that same player for UBC didn't really get a good. I didn't really play the ball well, and it led to big plays to Montreal to capitalize and to get down there. And when you see a player make those big mistakes at key times, you wonder if those are going to be the ones that are going to kill the team and maybe swing the momentum around. And I really felt that Montreal was going to find a way to pull it off. I think that the big thing that made me believe that was right before the half. UBC had the ball on like the 5-yard line with about a minute to go, and it was, at the time, the score was 13-7. Okay, it was 13-7 for UBC. And they were lined up to kick a field goal. Sorry, it was 16-7 UBC. They were lined up to kick a field goal, and that would have made it 19-7 at the half. Okay, or potentially the half, but that would have run off the time and whatever. So nonetheless, they went for a fake field goal. Wasn't executed properly. I think Coach Dill mentioned that the play should have been called off because of the coverage or the alignment that Montreal had. But nonetheless, play was run. They failed the conversion, and basically Montreal took the ball, went down, kicked a field goal at the last play of the half, making it 16-10 rather than 19-7. And, at the end of the day, it didn't hurt UBC because they ended up winning the football game. But I really felt at that time that could come back and bite them in the butt. It didn't. But at the end of the day, it was a great football game. And I hope if anyone has a chance, if there's ever a replay or you can get it online or whatever, check it out. It was a great game. And again, just giving a shout out to UBC for their national championship. And obviously Montreal for their second year in a row making the Vanier Cup. Obviously a little bit lucky there, blocking a field goal against Laval last play of the game to qualify, win by 2. But nonetheless, they're in there, and we'll see what happens next year. I definitely think that UBC will be the favorite, and the usual suspects will be also competing for the Vanier Cup. The other game that we're going to talk about, or the other few games and run that we're going to talk about, is the Grey Cup. It was, the Ottawa Redblacks, a little bit from the Ottawa side of it. What an unbelievable run for the Ottawa Redblacks. You saw everyone knows about the 2nd and 25 pass to Ellingson. I was there. It was unbelievable. A moment I'll never forget in my sport fandom history. But I really felt the Redblacks were a team of destiny. I really felt that this was going to be the year that they were going to have an opportunity to win the Grey Cup. And I can say they're doing. I listen to the radio quite often for TSN 1200 when I'm driving around and working, and they were talking the other day. Sean Simpson and Ian Mendes were talking about how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your disappointment with the Redblacks losing the Grey Cup? Now, obviously, you can look at it from two perspectives. You can look at it from the perspective that they're there. They shouldn't have been there in the sense of the second year that they've been in existence. They deserve to be there this year nonetheless, but you wouldn't have guessed at the start of the year that they would have had an opportunity to make the Grey Cup, but they did. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your disappointment? I put it at a 9, and I was extremely disappointed. And it wasn't because I felt they played with no effort or they did anything wrong. I really felt that game was there for the taking. I really felt that the Redblacks had an opportunity to win the Grey Cup the night of the Grey Cup. The early success, the 13-0 lead early on, it really made me worried. Obviously, I was excited. You never want to not score points early on. But at the same token, sometimes that can create a false sense of success. It also can create sort of an emotional high early on. And we all know that football is a very emotional game, like all professional sports are. But when you get that high that early, especially when you're in an inexperienced team, sometimes you can let your emotions get the best of you, and you sort of lose focus on what's important. And actually, I don't think that happened here, but I was worried that could happen. What I think happened in the Grey Cup was, I really felt that the Redblacks played to not lose rather than playing to win. There's a few moments in the game that I can remember just off the top of my head. Definitely, there was a play in the first half when they kicked a field goal to make it 16 whatever. I felt they should have went for that third down. I know points are valuable and you want to grab points and all that such, but when you're the underdog and you're playing a team that hasn't had the opportunity to get the ball that much and hasn't been that successful with the ball at that point in the game, you want to keep pouring it on. And I felt that was a great opportunity. They were pretty close. The team still would have had to drive a far ways when they got the ball back. I felt that they should have went for it on third down there. And instead of kicking the field goal, they did. They kicked the field goal. They got the points. And at the end of the day, that was sort of the last. That was sort of their last, real opportunity to score some points in the game. That was the closest they would ever get again in the game. And the other time that I know that everyone is talking about, like I heard on the radio the other day, was at 3rd and 3 at the 54, 53-yard line with around 9 and a bit minutes to go. Again, I think that was a great opportunity that they could have went for the win or maybe had an opportunity to go a little forward. They ended up punting the ball. The punter destroyed the ball, kicked it 75 yards, went through the back of the end zone for a single point, making it 20-18. But also giving the ball to Edmonton Eskimos on the 30-yard line or wherever it gets placed. And they were able to get that ball. And, they didn't score on the next drive or anything, but they basically were able to seize momentum and flip that field position, and Ottawa can never get out of it. And, we had there's obviously the pass interference calls, which I won't complain about too much. They both were the right calls. I don't like the ability for coaches to review refereeing refs' calls on pass interference. I think that's stupid. That's just my personal opinion. I also don't like the fact that they did make a statement early on in the year that the referees would not call pass interference when they're being reviewed if the ball was underthrown. They said, you know what, that's not really fair for the calls, because at the end of the day, if the ball's underthrown, the DB's not there, the guys can jump into them, and then, there's a lot of opportunity for the receivers to sort of fake it. They were able to get that call. And I think I really believe that first pass interference call was the right call. That's the rules, but I think we need to find a way to make that rule not be pass interference. It puts the defense in an extremely vulnerable position. They're already at a huge disadvantage playing the defensive back position, the most physically demanding position in all of sports, in my opinion. And the receiver, Bowman, jumped right into Kane. Kane definitely was in relative good position, but Mike Riley threw a terrible ball. It was way short. And Bowman did not make an attempt at the ball. He jumped into the defender, and he got the call. And the referee has to call it because it just looks like that. But at the end of the day, that shouldn't be pass interference. But it is, and I don't think at the end of the day, yes, it had a huge impact on the game, but I'm not going to be that type of guy to complain about the calls that led to the victory for Edmonton Eskimos, because I don't think that was the case. At the end of the day, it was a huge success for the Ottawa Redblacks this season. I know the entire city, all of Nakafa, all the people that I know, that even people that aren't involved with football, like my buddies who just never really played, but they love NFL football and they love fantasy football. They were so into the Redblacks this year. We were going to games and we got tickets and we had seats all together. It was a fantastic experience this year. I want to thank the Redblacks for an awesome season for the city of Ottawa. They really made us proud. Like I said, it was disappointing, but what can you do? So the Redblacks, just want to say shout out to you guys for giving us a great year. We're excited for you guys to get back to the Grey Cup and win it next year. And that's all that we're going to talk about today in the sense of the Vanier Cup and the Grey Cup. Great football games, ends of all the seasons. All of football is done in Canada now. We still don't have snow, but nonetheless, great seasons all around. And Carleton made the playoffs. Obviously, great talent and success for the Nakafa season this year. Sooners again made the championship game. It was just another unbelievable season for the city of Ottawa, which we all know is really a football town. The next part of this episode of the podcast, since we don't have many Nakafa games to talk about, we're going to talk about sort of a couple things. One, we're going to talk about sort of what we are going to be doing this offseason here with the podcast. And we're also going to talk about EPA. Now, as everyone knows, EPA and House Edge Media, House Edge Sports Network have joined together to try to find a way to make athletes better. And the way that EPA can make athletes better is by providing unbelievable training advice, giving kids an unbelievable training program, and really sculpting athletes to be better people on and off the football field. Pat Woodcock and Donnie Ruiz are unbelievable trainers. Like I said, we produced a 6-episode series about the summer program, the D2D summer program, Determination to Dominate. It's an unbelievable program that gives kids the opportunity to train with the best, learn from the best and train as a group with people that are like-minded and have the same goals that they do. Starting now, we are very shortly going to be releasing episode 7, sort of describing what they've been up to the last couple months and what they're getting started with right now. We're going to be working with the high school group of kids, which basically is the kids that have yet to officially commit to the next level, that are looking to get themselves prepped up to get committed to the next level. And also, it starts all the way from, I think there's even 13-year-olds in there. So it's any kid that has yet to commit to the university. They work together. They have a great group of kids that I just met the other night. And it's going to be an unbelievable. We're going to do another 6 to 8 episodes of their journey from where they are today to where they're going to be by the time the summer kicks off. We got a combine coming up in January from EPA where these kids are going to put their money where their mouth is and show everybody where they're at. And once they're done the program, we're going to do another combine to show where they've risen to. So everyone, I want you guys to stay tuned for all the stuff that we're doing with EPA. It's unbelievable. Pat and Donnie are huge supporters of what we do, and obviously we are huge supporters of what they do, and we want to thank them for this continued support. And together we're going to be doing great things for kids in the sport of football in the city of Ottawa. Now on this podcast, like I talked about, since we don't have any football games or anything, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be over the next 3 episodes, not starting today, the next 3 episodes, that'll be 11, 12, and 13, we're going to be going over, we're going to be reviewing the divisions. So we're going to be reviewing the Pee Wee division, week 11, the Bantam division, week 12, and the Midget division, week 13. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to review the season. We're going to review who did well, what teams did well, and all that. And we're also going to have the top 10 players from each division that we feel deserve the recognition for that. Obviously, our lists won't make everybody happy, and we will be leaving out some players, but that's okay, because what we want to do is we want to get the conversation started, and we want to make sure that people understand that HESN is here to improve competition, to make people feel that some people might not like it, but that's okay, because we love the feedback. Any parents, coaches, or other athletes, if you guys have any comments that you want to reach out to House Edge about, we are always open to talk to you guys about anything. All we're trying to do is try to raise the level of competition and football in the city of Ottawa, and we feel the best way to do that is to treat it as close to college and the pros that we can, whilst maintaining the integrity of amateur sports. And we feel with the support of NCAFA, EPA, and all our great supporters here at HESN that we're going to be able to do that. So just remember, guys, that over the next 3 episodes, starting with episode 11, episode 12, and episode 13, we're going to be reviewing the Pee Wee, Bantam, and Midget divisions respectively, and we're also going to be talking with tons of great special guests, which are coaches, leaders, and even athletes from the football community across Ottawa and across Canada. And that's really about it. This episode is more of a sort of a collecting my thoughts, getting everyone's attention to let them know what we're going to be doing. We'd love to hear from anybody that would love to like to be on the podcast or get their highlight tape done or get any information about anything. You guys are free to contact Tyler or Jesse here at House Edge Sports Network. It was an unbelievable season. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to episode 10 of the HESN Football Podcast. And next Wednesday, I guarantee you will see episode 11 talking about the Pee Wee division, about what happened. And we're going to be cutting up some more film as well to show everybody what we thought were some of the best plays, best players, and best teams from each of the divisions respectively. So thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. And we will talk to you guys next week. Peace.